5 habits that you must be doing on a daily basis and Chinese avoid. In this video, I'm gonna let you know which are these habits and why is it that Chinese avoid them. And maybe at the end of this video, after listening to me, you will also consider avoiding them too. So my name is Mar, welcome to my channel. I live in China for over 10 years and I share my experiences regarding living in China as a foreigner, as a student, as a business owner, as a entrepreneur, trader, etc. I'm from Mexico, by the way. So let's start with habit number 1. Basically, it's Chinese avoid going to sleep after 11 p.m. Yeah, sure. Not the young ones, but like the middle-aged Chinese to elderly are very well aware that you should be going to sleep before 11 p.m. because up to Chinese medicine, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is the time when the liver gets detoxified. And the liver is a very important organ in our bodies for our overall health. So it's super crucial that you will have that time of rest. It's not the same like if you go to sleep 3 a.m. and sleep for 8 hours than if you go to sleep at 11 and sleep for 8 hours. That means in the case that you go to sleep at 3 a.m., your liver detox was already gone. You skip that part essentially. And therefore you will look more and more depleted, like your skin will be yellow and dry. Your hair will be dry as well and not shiny, not healthy. Somehow it really looks. So basically when you go for consultation in a doctor in China, especially Chinese doctor, they will ask you always are you 熬夜? Basically means are you sleeping? In Spanish there is this word which is desvelar, and in Chinese is 熬夜, which is the same, but I don't know the word in English, which is basically sleeping after midnight. Maybe there is not a word for it. Let me know in the comment section. I don't know, maybe I'm too ignorant for it yet. But yeah, they will say ni 熬夜吗? Basically te desvelas in Espanol means are you sleeping after midnight, which basically gives you health problems and can ruin your health. And if you say, yeah, I sleep at 1 a.m. or I sleep at 2 or maybe 12, then they right away will just make you guilty of your illness and will be yeah, you have to sleep before that. You have to go to bed early in order to be healthy. So usually Chinese are well aware of this rule in Chinese medicine. They will try to sleep at 10, 11, not 1 or 12. So I'm not sure, but at least recently after COVID, especially when social media just somehow exploded, short form video, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Reels, and of course we have long form YouTube or also shorts or Reels in Facebook. It's very hard that you are preparing to go to sleep. I myself was victim of this, and suddenly the videos that are quite interesting or of my interest appear, and I'm about to go to sleep, but there is this video that seems very, very captivating and I just want to watch it, and I'm gonna be let's just watch for 5 minutes, or let's just watch this one last video, and just right away there's another video that seems more interesting than the one I just watched. Let's just go for another one. Let's go just for another one. And you don't understand how it's already 12 or past 12. I'm no, I promised myself I was going to bed before 11 p.m. So this happened to me many times. I try to take control of my sleeping time, and I even take some relaxing herbs and put some music, but really the videos, I'm addicted, especially to YouTube. If I stay with short form content, I just really dislike this addictive scrolling and anxiety. I just dislike it, so I prefer to watch long form. What about you guys? Do you prefer to watch short form in which platform, or long form? And do you stay watching also after 11 p.m. or you close your phone at what time? Let me know what is your sleeping time. So yeah, let's all try to sleep before 11 p.m. so for our liver to be healthy and our overall health to also be great for this 2025 and the rest of our lives. Number second is that in Chinese medicine and also in the Chinese beauty arena, women say that you shouldn't be drinking coffee. If possible, like avoid it at all costs, but if not, then just try to have very little. Because coffee will make your skin dry and overall will dehydrate your body, because somehow coffee is like a diuretic. In Spanish is diuretico. I'm not sure the word in English. However, somehow it takes away the water in your body and you will feel it. Like maybe not one day, one cup, but with time. If you are a coffee drinker, if you're a heavy coffee drinker, let's say after 5-10 years, your skin will somehow reflect it. I'm not a coffee drinker. Hopefully my screen reflects so. But I'm a tea drinker, by the way. I love oolong and I love green tea. I also drink it with a mix of like women's tea from China, which is basically rose and chrysanthemum flower, goji, Chinese date, and there is this other thing which I'm forgetting. However, oh yeah, the dragon eye. It's called eye dragon or something like that. It's very sweet. So yeah, I really like tea. I'm not a coffee drinker. Even when I am drinking one cup of coffee from Starbucks, I'll feel my mouth get drier. It gets like somehow dehydrated after the cup of coffee and I feel very dry. So therefore I try to avoid coffee. I'm not sure whether you love coffee, but I know that Americans or in America consider Mexico American too, because we here love coffee too. People here are coffee drinkers, not tea drinkers. If you're watching from the UK, your story might be different. You are a heavy black tea drinker. So let me know, what is your preference? Coffee, black coffee, latte, or tea? Which kind of tea? And how many cups do you drink a day? I drink 2 cups usually in the morning, just for that. By the way, I just had a matcha a little bit a while ago, therefore I'm very energized. I love tea. Not a coffee drinker. So yeah. And yeah, nowadays that they have Starbucks all around China, young people like to be there just because it's cool. But elderly and like middle-aged, women and men will prefer to drink tea. Even when you go to meetings, like they know you are a foreigner and you drink coffee, and they will hand you a like bottle of like Nescafe or something, like a prepared coffee drink, which is already sugary and contains milk, and they'll be like, here, have some coffee. And sometimes I'm like, I don't like coffee, I prefer tea. And they're like, oh my god, I also prefer tea, so let's have this cup of tea. And they really enjoy the whole ceremony of like the whole thing about preparing the tea and chatting while preparing it, enjoying it. So yeah, I prefer tea. And Chinese middle age, let's say above 30, will prefer tea too. Above 35 maybe, or 40. So before that, maybe they are just falling for the global trend of Starbucks and drinking coffee. By the way, nowadays, I was in China April and March, and I saw that Starbucks had very little clients compared to previous years. Somehow I saw that Looking Coffee took over Starbucks because of the big marketing, the whole branding of like superstars there drinking their Looking Coffee compared to Starbucks. Somehow I felt like they didn't like Starbucks, or they wanted to compete so hard with Starbucks because it's a foreign company. So I don't know if I'm biased. Maybe if you're living in China or you traveled to China this year or in the recent time, let me know if you felt also the same, or you are also feeling somehow Starbucks is not that hype in China anymore and Looking Coffee somehow took over. I haven't tried Looking Coffee, as I say, coffee is not my thing, but yeah, let me know also if it's a good coffee. So number 3 is Chinese avoid to be late, not like Mexicans. I believe Mexicans are very well known around the globe, maybe, hopefully not, for being late. Guys, if you're watching here, are you having this idea that we Mexicans are always late, or in general Latin people? Because it's a thing. To be honest, here, like, there was this friend from China asking me, like, why would, like, in Mexico they will hand in like marriage invitations and they have the time set at 5:30, but the whole thing or the party or the mass is starting at 6 or 6:30 p.m. And I was like, yeah, they obviously, up to me, obviously, they will like set at that time, maybe 30 or 1 hour previous to the whole event starting, because they know people will be late. Therefore, they can have the time frame, you know. And Chinese just arrived at the time that state was stated in the paper, and there were crickets. There was nobody there, and they couldn't understand why. Like, we have this culture here. So in China, it's opposite. Like, if you say we have a meeting at 5:30, the other counterpart, they say the supplier or the client, will be waiting for you 10 minutes prior or maybe 15 minutes in advance, just so for him or her not to be late, but they want to be earlier, just to avoid being late. And let's say he's waiting there 15 minutes in advance, and the Mexican one client will just be there. If he says 5:30, I'm just going to arrive maybe 15 minutes later, or maybe even 20. So let's say I'm going to be arriving at 5:50, yeah? So if he's there from 5:30, prior 15 minutes, 5:15, he will be waiting like a lot of time till 5:50, right? So yeah, they have this they are just so confused at how Mexican time works. By the way, I did a video about that previously. I'm gonna link that video in the comment section if you wanna go and watch it. I think it's a very interesting video because you guys also commented regarding your own countries and how time was like very important for you, and also somehow it's respectful, right? To give that, to be on time, to give that respect to either your client, your supplier, your patient, your student, your teacher, and not just to take it for granted, like I'm gonna be there 5 to 15 minutes late so he can wait. The Mexican idea is just like that. It's like, it's normal. If I have the dentist appointment at 5, it's fine if I arrive 5:15 because it's still on time frame. Here they think like somehow 5 to 15 or 20 minutes still on time frame. I don't believe, maybe Japan will think that. So the Chinese also do not think that, and they are usually never late, as far as I know. Let me know if that was the case for you too regarding your experience with Chinese. Number 4 is especially Chinese girls will avoid washing their hair on an everyday basis. I mentioned this on the last video when I was speaking about the weather in Shenzhen, vs Guadalajara, where I'm right now based in Mexico. And I was talking like here is dry. So as you can see, I'm quite dry. But in Shenzhen, it's the total opposite. And in the whole province of Guangdong, where it's super humid, especially during the summer days or even near spring or even late autumn. Still now, it must be very humid and you are sweating the whole time. So how come? I was wondering how will they be sweating and not washing their hair, because their hair usually is quite long under the waistline and it's just heavy and it's polluted, and it's like, yeah, you don't want to go back home and just sleep in your bed sheet or your pillow with all this polluted sweaty hair without washing it. However, they try to avoid washing their hair on an everyday basis, and usually they wash it once to twice, or maybe twice is just normal. Maybe 3 times is a little bit maybe too much. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, and some Chinese wash it on an everyday basis. Chinese males, they don't care, so their hair is very like small, and they wash it, they shower and they wash it on an everyday basis. If the case is that they wash themselves or they shower on an everyday basis. It's not the case all the time, because my followers from my Spanish channel have been telling me like they have boyfriends in China that they don't enjoy showering every day. So, anyways, the thing is like they try to avoid washing their hair on an everyday basis, and they will wash it maybe once to twice every week. They will go to this special salon to have it washed and detoxify from the scalp, so it feels really comfortable, it feels really nice, and somehow it's a deeper um, cleanup than the one that you can do at home with your own shampoo, and it feels fresher maybe up to 3 days. I can also say that, but even if it feels fresher and cleaner, nonetheless the sweat and the pollution gets gets to touch your scalp, gets to touch your hair, but it's the way they roll. So what do you prefer? Do you also get to wash your hair on an everyday basis? In Mexico, people here somehow are very used to wash themselves and their hairs in the morning prior to going to work. It's very common that during the working hours in traffic, in the metro, in the bus, in the streets, you will see people, like girls having their hair dripping water because they just shower and they wash their hairs and they want to go to the office smelling fresh. It's not the case for China. I've seen that, for example, when I was in Huachanbei in the markets, like people will just go like that. Like even boys and girls, some men will just have like really just not, I'm not gonna talk about even clean hair, just like that. Like they just woke up and went directly to work without even, you know what I mean or not. And I was very surprised because they're used to that. It's not like, it's very uncommon that you will see someone passing by and is just showered and perfume, smelling fresh, clean and tidy at 8 a.m. in the metro or in the market, in the Huachanbei markets. Let's say they open at 11. It's not that early even. You could have that time. But it's not the case. And it's because usually they really sleep so late. They are young people sleeping late. They don't follow the rule number 1 of sleeping at 11 p.m. However, I've seen that. Have you seen that too? And also I've seen that those girls there, somehow they suffer, so many of them, of dandruff, maybe because they don't wash their hair. Also they have somehow, many of the clerics working in like shops, especially I saw like shops just like selling shoes or whatever. I was in Maoye department store, which is one of my favorite stores in Huachabay also, and I saw a few girls that came and helped me with the shoes and everything. Whenever they were helping me, they had this dandruff, and I was like, oh, it doesn't look so clean, but anyways, I saw a lot of them having this problem. Maybe it's because of they don't wash their hair and somehow they get that, or who knows. Anyways, number 5, they avoid eating or snacking on like sweets and like desserts. Compared to us in Mexico and overall in the West, let's say if you go to Cheesecake Factory, if you're from the USA, you know which place I am talking about. We have Cheesecake Factory here too. Like after a copious meal, you then have dessert. And dessert is just like a big piece of a chunk of like cheesecake, which is basically a whole meal for it by itself of like the caloric intake that is just contained in that cake. However, here in Mexico, they have also this habit of like consuming carrot cake, the pastel de tres leches. They have like also this jelly and tiramisu, chocolate cake, dessert, gelato or like ice cream. So they do have this habit of after a meal having more calories as a dessert. Compared to China, they will have fruit. Usually they have watermelon. It will help with digestion. Although in the West, we say fruits should be taken prior to meals. So in order that whenever they get fermented in our digestive system, they will go faster out. Otherwise, if you first eat the meat and after the watermelon will get fermented faster than the meat and will get stuck. Anyways, that's the way they roll. And I love that they serve fruit as a dessert. It's just like, wow, it's amazing. And by the way, the fruit in China tastes just so divine. It's so sweet, so ripe. It just tastes seriously great. There is a brand in China, the brand of like the monkey pagoda. Wow, this shop is just, it's a whole business case by itself. I love it. I'm so in love with it. They sell like premier fruit, like AAA class of fruit from all over the world, including avocados from Mexico. Anyways, I was just saying like how Chinese avoid taking desserts as well as snacking. In Mexico, it's just very opposite. Here, people love snacking. In the USA, people love snacking. If you go to 7-Eleven or any kind of like these drugstores, they sell all kind of like cookies, like chips. They sell this, they sell that, peanut butter sandwiches, but it's not for a meal, it's just for a snack. So here in Mexico, they also have like Mexican candy and Mexican Doritos and chicharrones and all kind of like things where it's just taking on the go because you're kind of hungry and you are not willing to wait until the next meal. So why not just having it as a snack and just taking some in your bag whenever you feel hungry, you just snack on it. So usually these are empty calories that of just like junk food usually. Of course, they are now healthy snacks, but they are not very nutritious and they will just somehow calm your hunger. I've seen that in China, they don't really snack. Even the 3 meals they take, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, are salty compared to us. Let's say in Mexico or the USA, we'll have like oatmeal for breakfast, which is sweet. Usually in the USA, they will put it with some maple syrup or like some fruits or some honey or some kind of like thing that makes it sweet. We will also have like cereals, which are not healthy. In Mexico, we'll have fruit for breakfast. We will have juices, fruit juices, also in the USA. And in the lunchtime, then it's salty. And the dinner time, maybe it can be a mix or it's salty. But in China, it's just like rice, the protein, chicken, beef, seafood, and a portion of different mixed vegetables. That's it for the usually breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's almost the same. There are people that eat rice, white plain rice on an everyday basis, the 3 meals, but still they don't get fat. And I do believe it's because they don't snack. The calories that they are intaking are quite nutritious, like the vegetables or the little meat that they eat in the plate. It's not like a big steak like here in Mexico or in the USA, as well as they don't have a lot of fried stuff like French fries in the USA, you know, or in Mexico we have a lot of fried stuff, and you know what I'm talking about. The USA and Mexico have like the first places overall of obesity around the world. So we are neighbors, we get well together regarding foods, we know what is really harming us and making us live so much less quality lives, as well as living less. Anyhow, this is a big takeout for all of us here. We should avoid snacking and also avoid this big calorie, like high calorie intake desserts. We should just maybe snack on fruit or have fruit as dessert. That's the best. Not produced like processed foods, especially packed cookies and, you know, high caloric whatever, sweets, Mexican candy or US American candy, whatever, gummies, jellies. I hope that you enjoy this one. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did so, as well as be welcome to contact me via my socials. My contact info is on the description box, as well as if you want to support the channel, be my guest. Until the next time, kisses to the world. Bye bye.